Hi, my name is Mark Lev with Brightstar Systems, here to give you an overview of our new product for Remedy called ADSync. ADSync is a tool intended to automate the synchronization and ongoing management of Active Directory accounts with BMC Remedy. First, let me explain what ADSync does and what it can do for you. ADSync allows the identification of AD domains and OUs external to BMC Remedy, which eliminates the complicated process of configuring multiple plugins. All AD domains will look like one to Remedy, but can still be managed according to desired controls. By allowing the mapping of AD site information to the Remedy sites, we have eliminated the need to reconfigure or align AD sites to Remedy sites. To align AD accounts to Remedy, you can map domains to Remedy companies by site. ADSync provides for default configurations and data reconciliation to accommodate incomplete or errant data in AD. Let's quickly review the ADSync process flow. ADSync reads Active Directory and populates a synchronization database where it performs the manipulation and management of AD records. The ADSync process engine applies the rules and configurations that you define to prepare the data for processing into Remedy. This is done in a staging form. Finally, ADSync will create, update, or process a deleted AD record accordingly. Now let's take a look at the ADSync tool. From the ADSync installation folder, we'll go ahead and launch the configuration wizard for ADSync. To configure ADSync, you only need to provide minimal information in an intuitive user interface. The first step is to configure the ADSync synchronization engine. The first tab asks for Remedy database server details and credentials. This allows ADSync to communicate with the synchronization database, which the ADSync Remedy process engine will use. Note that ADSync uses its own database space and does not alter BMC Remedy database in any way. Remedy only needs to be able to read and write to the ADSync synchronization database. Once you enter in the information in all the appropriate fields, you can go ahead and test the connection to make sure that connectivity is established. The next tab asks for information and credentials for your Active Directory domains. You can easily configure multiple AD domains without the administrative and customization overhead that used to be required to incorporate multiple domains within Remedy. Note that ADSync will never write or alter your Active Directory structure. ADSync only reads from Active Directory. And again, once you enter in your domain, user ID, password, and server for your Active Directory connection, you can test to make sure that ADSync has communication path to your Active Directory. The third tab allows you to select the trees that you want ADSync to read to locate the accounts to be processed. You can select multiple trees within any domain, and you can select from any number of domains. ADSync retains the domain relationship, so further processing or annotation within Remedy is possible. The fourth tab allows you to map AD attributes to Remedy people form fields. This is done on a domain basis, so if your AD domains are configured differently, ADSync is able to accommodate this. You can select the domain from the domain field, and then you go ahead and select your source fields and your target fields. The fifth and final tab allows you to define the schedule when you want ADSync to auto-process AD synchronization. ADSync uses Windows Scheduler. We do not install any services onto your system. A service account with permissions to launch Windows Scheduler is required. That completes the configuration of the ADSync tool. Let's take a look at how you actually configure the rules and configuration options within Remedy for ADSync. From the Remedy home page, you will see that ADSync control panel has been installed in your Quick Links tab. We'll go ahead and launch that, and we will see that the ADSync control panel has a few tabs and various fields for this. From the ADSync control panel, you can configure various settings and options within ADSync to process your Active Directory. On the Settings tab, you can define either by domain or as defaults what ADSync should do with each record. If no settings are configured for a particular domain, the default settings will be used. The domains are controlled in separate area. Your default settings are controlled in the center tab, and then your application settings are controlled to the right. You can enable or disable the three basic functions of ADSync, and that is to create, update, or delete Remedy accounts based on Active Directory. For delete, you have an additional option to what you want the default status to be set to. There's a special option called Archive, which allows you to turn on or off auto-archiving within ADSync. You can also set a default password and which unique identifier ADSync should use within your Remedy configuration. On the Site Map tab, this allows you to identify and map AD sites with your Remedy sites. ADSync will attempt to identify sites within AD, however you can manually add site names. You then map AD sites to Remedy sites. This eliminates the need to modify your AD configuration to match the Remedy configuration and vice versa. So if I wanted to add a new Active Directory site, I can just go in and type in the site name, add the site, and it now appears here, and now I can map that site to this Remedy site and relate them. Now every time ADSync sees AD Site 5 in Active Directory, it will change the value in Remedy to Headquarters Building 1.34. The Company Map tab allows you to associate a Remedy company with a domain site map and set default information for key people form fields. This will override domain default values set in the Settings tab. If no company map is found, the domain or default values will be used. The Fields map allows you to enable or disable people form updates on a field-by-field basis. You can also instruct ADSync if you want it to pass blank or null values. For example, the client type is set to inactive. You can also change that so that you do want to allow blank values on that. So in this case, no matter what value is passed, ADSync will not push the client type to the people record during a modify operation. The Templates map allows you to define rules either by domain or by defaults to apply a people template to a new user. If the rule evaluates to true for the record being processed, the identified template will be applied. You can select any mapped AD field to build your rule. So the example I'm showing here is if the assigned to equals administrator, I'm going to apply the template cal-support staff to the new records being created by ADSync. The Reconcile tab allows you to define rules which will help you clean up your data from Active Directory into ADSync. For example, the rule that I'm showing here, I'm testing the field manager's name to see if it is not null. If it is not null, I'm performing a lookup operation against the CTM people form. I'm going to return the Remedy login ID, and the rule that I'm going to search on is if the manager's name is equal to, in this case, it's the full name. It does return the field ID in order for the account to be processed. After I perform the search, I'm going to replace the manager login ID in the staging form with the Remedy login ID from the CTM people form, and I'm telling it that I want it to convert this value to all lowercase. And you have the option of leaving it as it is or changing that to all upper. Another example real quickly would be that the LDAP path in your Active Directory structure is like this value, and if that's true, I want to replace the value in company on the staging form with the value of right star, and I want to convert it to all uppers. As you can see, this gives a lot of flexibility in your ability to manage and manipulate your Active Directory data into Remedy without the need to modify your existing data. And finally, you have the ability to review all the log and history information that ADSync has performed. A complete log by job is stored, and within each job list you will see every record that ADSync processed. If it skipped it, processed it, and if there was an error. In this case I'm showing here, these were errors, and it's telling me that the last name and first name were blank, and that's not allowed in Remedy, so we do not process that record. You can also view a complete activity report in a single form to show everything that was done. And you'll notice that we do record all activity, including archiving and what is done in the archiving of all the information that we include. That's it. It's now that easy to integrate Active Directory into BMC Remedy. Thank you for allowing Rightstar Systems to present our ADSync solution to you. And should you have any questions or would like to schedule a demonstration or purchase ADSync, please contact us anytime.